preface it.
Oh, I want one.
You're still stolen stuff.
Just a couple.
All right, we are now out of executive session. It's 7:10. I'd like to entertain a motion to seal the minutes from executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Now I'd like to make a motion without objection. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. All right, so without objection, I'd like to move item 10I up out of order.
Second.
All
Is that a
right,
motion?
without objection.
Okay. No one
No
objects.
objection. All right. So at this point in time, I'd like to make a motion that, sorry?
Entertain a motion.
Or,
We've already moved up, so we're on 10I now?
yeah. So at this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to, I guess, what is it, award or engage with? Award the RFP for solar panels on the Tiverton Land Fill to Kearsarge for the reasons being that they demonstrated Rhode Island landfill experience. They have the ability to manage federal requirements, deadlines, and interconnect risk, financial return and certainty to the town, clarity regarding long-term ownership, overall project viability under regulatory and infrastructure constraints, and also based on the initial payment estimates, as well as their responsiveness related to the membrane cap on the landfill. Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. So, next item on the agenda is the administration of oath. First off, we have Police Officer Justin Simmons. Madam Clerk, are you administering these oaths? Or is the chief? Or both?
Sir? Just to give you a quick background, I know you have a busy agenda, so I'll make it very quick. Officer Justin Simmons is going to be pinned tonight by his wife, Jessica Simmons, and their daughter, Lennon, who I promise you, we met in the hallway, and Lennon will steal the show. So they'll come up.
She was crying when I...
Officer Simmons is the transfer from Little Compton that we were discussing over a month ago, and he's doing a fantastic job with us, and we couldn't be more happy to have him. So congratulations.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Justin Simmons,
I, Justin Simmons,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the town of Tiverton,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of police officer
the duty of police officer
for the town of Tiverton,
for the town of Tiverton.
so help me God.
So help me.
Officer William Riley graduated the Rhode Island Police Academy, the 145th session. He is being pinned tonight by his father, David Riley.
raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, William Riley,
I, William Riley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and of the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
preserve the divisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the town of Tiverton,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of police
the
officer
duties of police
for
officer
the town of Tiverton,
for the town of Tiverton,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Officer Ryan Feuti graduated the 145th session of the Rhode Island Police Academy and was also the class valedictorian, finishing with a grade point average of 95.8. Congratulations. I will be pinning on Officer Feuti's badge tonight, and I'm honored to do so. I'm just as nervous as everybody else. Well done. Congratulations.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Brian Feuti,
I, Ryan Feuti,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and obey the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Rhode Island,
and the state of Rhode Island,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the town of Tiverton,
and ordinances of the town of Tiverton,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of police officer
the duty of police officer
for the town of Tiverton,
for the town of Tiverton,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I'd like to thank the council, all our members of the department who came here tonight. I know it means a lot to the officers that are here. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, next item of business is the consent agenda. Would any members of the council like to remove any items from the consent agenda as listed? Councilors Janick, then Burk.
6D1,
Figured someone would do that one.
Councilor Burke.
6C1 and B1 and B3.
All right, C1, D1's already pulled, and B3?
D.
D3. All right, any other counselors? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda minus C1, D1, and 3.
So moved. Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, we'll go right in order. Councilor Burke.
So I just wanted to know, and I don't know if the DPW Director knows
Was he here?
it's accurate, but we have no rejected loads to Rhode Island Resource Recovery in that month?
That's correct.
How often do we get that?
We've gotten the last 2 months, but the first 3 months that I was started, we had rejected loads. They typically come after rain.
So our residents are doing a nice job putting their recycling out in the right way?
Yeah, I believe the residents are fine, it's just the trucks sitting overnight, if it's raining, then
Okay.
everything shows up wet.
Thank you.
All right, Councilor, we'll just do them all at once. Councilor Janick, D1.
so D1 is the resolution of the town of West Greenwich regarding low and moderate income housing. So over the past few years, the state of Rhode Island has continued to change on an annual basis the laws regarding housing development, and makes it more and more difficult for towns to be able to control some of the building that's going on. So the developers are coming here fast and furious. Anyone who is looking at doing a development with 20% of the homes being considered low and moderate income housing, they bypass a lot of the restrictions that we have in place. So what's happened is the laws change continuously, and it's just really hard to keep up with it. And we've not really tested the waters. A lot of these developers are coming in and trying to do developments, and it takes a while before they get through all of the stages for the planning boards, and if they need to go to zoning. So I would like to do a resolution for the town of Tiverton, if one could be drafted, so that we could be on this bandwagon to go to the state and let them know that how this is impacting us.
Any further comment from the councils? Nope. All right. Councilor Burk, D3.
I just want to acknowledge receipt of the letter from the Visiting Nurses Home and Hospice. We provided them, we provide several community agencies that provide supportive services to our residents, funding each year, and we don't often get a letter back thanking us for that funding, so I just want to say how much I appreciate getting this letter from them thanking us for that $5,000. And with that, I would move acceptance of C1, D1, and D3.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, not opposed. Next item on the agenda is public comments. First up, we have Gail Lawrence. Before Ms. Lawrence speaks, because I know we've gotten, you can, by all means, can come up. I know we've all gotten on the council several emails about this position. I think it's important to reinforce for the community that there is a definitive process, and our role on the town council here is to hire that individual right there, the administrator, and then the personnel decisions are 100% in his court. That being said, in this instance, for the planner, the candidate that came forward was interviewed not only by the personnel board, but our town administrator was kind enough to pull forward several members of this council, as well as input from the planning board, as well as input from the school superintendent in an extensive interview as well. So while we are on the agenda later on this evening to ratify a contract, that is solely what we are here to do. The hiring process lies 100% in the administrator's office. Take it
Okay,
away.
thank you very much. I'm Gail Lawrence. I live on 108 Long Pasture Way. And I guess I should direct this to you, Mr. Jones, rather than to the council at large. However, I do know that because you can either ratify or not, you do have control over whether this person or any other person who comes before you is hired or not. So I would just make that point in response to your comment, Mr. Edwards. So I don't want to put a cloud over this person, but it has come to my attention that he is a person who was our planner from 2007 to 2012. And his contract was not renewed back then. One would maybe ask why he is being offered a very generous employment package with 6 weeks of vacation time and other good benefits, given that truth. This package would give him more vacation days than any other department head, 30 versus 25, and you, Mr. Jones, get 25, I believe. You do get 30, okay, well, that's an improvement. Yeah, well, why not? When I did see Mr. Spencer's name on the agenda, I did go and look on Clerk Base, and I did find out from the contract what the terms were. Unfortunately, I did not find a resume or any notes about his particular qualifications and why he would be back to be our planner. I do know that when our town DPW head was hired, we did post a resume of his qualifications. So I would suggest that we routinely try to post a resume of candidates and make that available on the website, because that is in the interest of transparency, and it would probably benefit the town to do that in the future if possible. But absent the resume, I will say that I have lived in Tiverton long enough to know a bit of the history as it relates to this applicant. And so this is what the concern I will share. In 2012, Mr. Spencer,
What's that?
We're not talking about personnel.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a public forum. We're going to talk about the personnel matter, someone's knowledge, experience, or past. The applicant or the person that we're going to talk about, first of all, has a right to know that we're going to talk about him or her, and number two, whether to have that in closed session.
Okay.
So I'm sure the council would like to hear your remarks. I would prefer that you maybe submit them in writing.
Okay.
And then at that point, the council can determine whether or not they want to have an executive session on that. But it's a little unfair to kind of,
No,
and
no.
I know it's not your intent.
I'm
just trying
I'm not trying to malign this
No, I
person
know you're
by
not.
any
And
means.
I'm not suggesting you are, but whether you would, my remarks would be the same whether you're going to praise him or not praise him. So it would be,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so the horse will have left the barn by the end of this meeting? Is that correct or not? This decision will be made this evening, and so my comments, whatever they were, praising or not, will be ineffectual.
Is there anything legal to let her speak? Like, is it going to affect?
I mean, I don't want to do something that's out of.
He isn't
order.
a,
This is
I mean, just
becoming,
let her,
it is a personnel matter, so, you know,
but he doesn't work for us yet.
but he's being recommended.
Okay,
All
all
right.
right.
No,
Well,
I'm just asking.
let the record show.
I mean, it's not, you don't have to take my advice, and it's not, you know.
I mean, I would just like to hear what she has to say, and if it's legally not going to get us in trouble, I'd just like to hear what it is she needs to say.
The problem is I don't know what she's going to say.
So.
Neither do I, that's why I'm
So,
curious.
and at this point, maybe I don't even know what I'm going to say. What I will do, however, since perhaps you're blunting my attempt to share what happened in this town, I would ask you to talk amongst yourselves so you can review the happenings of 2012.
So if I say something, I was
That-
part of the interviewing team.
Okay.
It was Councilor Janick, Councilor Burk, and myself, and 2 members of the planning board. It went on for around 2 hours, and all of that came up during our discussion there. And we
Okay.
did talk to Mr. Spencer about past history, and we would I believe we were satisfied with his answers. So there has been some thought on this, and the three of
Okay.
us. Oh, it's
That's-
also Stu Hardy and Cheryl Velka, and the superintendent of schools also. And we had a very pleasant interview for 2 hours, but a lot of serious questions came up, and I think we were all satisfied. I was here in 2012. Keep that in
Okay,
mind.
good, good.
Keep that in
Well,
mind.
You're the keeper of history then.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately. But, yeah, so, and I did ask some questions because I was here. Well, Mr. Spencer was very eager to tell us without us really asking about his experience here. And then we asked further questions, but he wasn't holding back at all. Is that okay, Mike?
Okay.
So I guess the answer is that the council was aware and brought it up during the interview period, that they were entitled to, they were invited to attend by the town administrator. So I guess if you're concerned that these issues were not raised or addressed properly, you now have heard from people who were invited to be on the interview committee that they were raised and addressed, and they apparently, to their satisfaction or not, we'll find out tonight. But that's,
Okay, so I will pivot to this point then, and I would like to present to you, and this may be something you also have in your possession. It is an article from the Times-Union in the Capital District of New York. I resided there for over 30 years, so I know that the Times-Union is a reasonable source of accurate news. And I don't know Mr. Hughes, the reporter. However, I will share a copy that I have of this in the outside chance that somehow it slipped through the net. Would you pass
Can't
those to
believe
them?
everything you read.
Because I think, too, that that is germane to your considerations this evening. And furthermore, I guess I would like to say a couple of things, general things. I think that any planner that we choose has to be a very effective communicator and have the ability to be responsive to the townspeople. This is a general statement, not particularly saying whether Mr. Spencer qualifies or not in this regard. just to make the record clean. I also think that any planner or any other employee of the town needs to be above reproach, and they need to know which team they're playing on. And lastly, I think they have to possess a set of skills that are in accordance with the needs and goals of the community they are planning to serve. Does the skill set that candidate brings to you and to our town match the needs of the town? Tiverton faces, it's kind of like having a giant bullseye on us. We face massive pressure for development. So we really have to have an astute person who is able to navigate these treacherous waters. And that is because, like all of you, I have the best interests of this town in sight. So thank you for your redirect. You're always redirecting me, Mr. Marcello, but that's okay.
Our time at the zoning board, you are the best cross-examiner that I ever saw.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do appreciate that you vet the candidates, that you work hard at the jobs you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moniz, on the 250th Commission, sir, name and address for the record, please.
My name, Peter Monis, 83 Captain Circle, Tiverton. And I should say I'm the chairperson of the 250th Commission. And basically, I just want to give an announcement from the commission and to town council and the residents of Tiverton. I'll just read it and I'll head out.
All right,
Unless I get cross-eyed and I'll start reading it again.
take it away, sir.
Okay, as we enter the new year of 2026, we should be aware that this will be the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It is the semi-quincentennial year. On July 4th of the year 1776, the 13 colonies joined together and broke away from the King of England and that monarch's rule. Throughout 2026, our hometown, with the surrounding towns and cities of Rhode Island, will be observing that historic step along with other related actions that took place before and after that episode. It was the focal point that highlighted the development of our nation, the United States of America. The Tiverton 250th Commission, in addition to the Tiverton Public Library, Tiverton schools with their teachers and other historic-minded citizens will be planning events to celebrate that revolutionary era. One event that has been considered, which the Tiverton residents can easily get involved with, is displaying the colors of our nation, red, white, and blue. It could be flying our flag or streamers, hanging a banner or bunting on our homes, in the neighborhood, and as well as private and public establishments. Think about it. Let's participate together and celebrate the 250th. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next item on the agenda is appointments and resignations. We have to acknowledge the resignations. I'm going to do all three of them, and then we can take them as a block. Raphael Weschler from the Semi-Quincentennial Commission, effective 12/3/2025. Brenda Mottram from the Conservation Commission, effective 4/15/2025. And Constance Fleckenstein from the Conservation Commission, effective 4/15/2025. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept these resignations with regret.
So moved. Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Councilor Janick.
Can I just ask, is this going to impact our quorum on any of these commissions?
Conservation.
We have had a problem with quorum on the semi-quincentennial commission, not on the conservation. That one's been fine. It's the semi-quincentennial.
I mean, I know we can't not accept their resignation for that reason. It's just for informational for me.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, next item on the agenda is public hearings as advertised. 9A, we have approval of the proposed amendment to the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 78, Traffic and Vehicles, Section 78-37G, adding provisions for placing stop signs at the intersection of Wampanoag Lane and Gadsby Lane. As this is a public hearing, I'd like to open up the public hearing. Would any members of the public like to speak on this topic? Any members of the public? Nope. Please come forward and just state your name and address for the record, please.
Jamie Borden, Wampanoag Lane, and I'm the petitioner
Okay?
who brought this forward and didn't know if there was any questions or anything you would like to ask, why we requested the stop signs.
Any members of the council have any questions? I know this has come up a couple of times, so
Yep.
we are.
The police chief.
This was approved by the, and reviewed by the police department.
One of the bigger issues here that I didn't realize until a later email is that the farmer's market and some of the sports at Town Farm are what's putting heavy traffic on what we all look at as a side road with no outlet, which is apparently the cause of that intersection issue. I did visit it myself. It's a blind intersection. There's a lot of shrubbery. I'm actually surprised. It's pretty much like a Seekonk Speedway, figure eight, take your pick.
Yeah.
So,
But this came to us from a citizen, from a resident.
citizen.
Did me.
Oh, it was you? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, any further questions? Looks like you're getting off easy. So, would you like to make any statements to the council on this, or no?
Nope,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Any other members of the public like to speak on this proposed amendment? Ms. Lawrence? Prepare yourself, Mr.
So
Solicitor.
I am Gail Lawrence, and I live on Long Pasture Way. If you know the geography of our neighborhood, Jamie is one of the members of my neighborhood. So I'm just saying I wholeheartedly support this initiative because it is a scary intersection, and I walk every day, at least twice a day in the neighborhood. So I've seen it, I've seen the need, as it were. So I'm glad that it's viewed favorably.
Thank you. Any other members of the public like to speak on this proposed ordinance amendment? All right, hearing none, I'd like to close the public forum and entertain a motion to approve the proposed amendment to the Tiverton Code of Ordinances as listed.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, all in favor? None opposed. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of the proposed amendment to Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 78, Traffic and Vehicles, Section 78-83, adding provisions for placing 30-minute parking limit sign daily between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on State Avenue from Main Road East for 56 feet to the driveway of 287 State Avenue. As this is a public hearing, I'd like to open up the public hearing. Any members of the public like to speak on this proposed ordinance change? Any members of the public? Any members of the public? All right, hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion to approve the proposed ordinance amendments as listed.
I'll make the motion, but I do have a comment.
Motion been made and seconded. Discussion.
Location, this is Old Tiverton, from the Barker property south to Narragansett Ave. Is that the same one here? 7883?
We're adding to that list, so that one's already
No, I
there.
know, but it's the landmark of Barker property is just the. Gotcha. I just didn't know if we
You
needed
should
to
look at some of
change
the,
that.
you should look at some of the deeds that we have
Oh, I
on
know.
record.
I've seen some of them, and this one just jumped out at me that it says Barker property, but.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, none opposed. Next item is approval of the proposed amendment to the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 22, Businesses, Section 22-3, Holiday Business, to repeal holiday license effective January 1st, 2026, based on a change in Rhode Island state law. Is this a public hearing? I'd like to open up the public hearing. Any members of the public like to speak on this ordinance change? Any members of the public? Any members of the public? Hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion to approve the proposed amendment or ordinance as listed.
So moved.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? None opposed. Next item on the agenda is approval of the proposed amendment to the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Articles of Appendix A, zoning ordinance, and there are several as listed. Just a quick note here, Councilor Committo has expressed an interest, and I believe the council en banc agrees that we would like to have a more deep dive discussion with the land use attorney and the planning board who are recommending these changes. So to that effect, I will open the public hearing this evening, and then we will continue the public hearing to the following meeting, so we can have that discussion.
Workshop?
If that's what the council's preference is, yes. Yeah. So we'll deal with scheduling at the next, at the first item on general business. All right, so any members of the public like to speak on any of these zoning ordinance changes? Any members of the public? It's really exciting. Any members of the public? All right, so with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to our January 26th town council meeting.
Can we see if we can get a date for an interim meeting?
Or date, so, just say or date, so we can schedule it, because I think he wants to meet before then.
Yeah,
Right, so I'm saying.
It's understood.
Yeah, can we see if we can get a date for that interim meeting? Before we
Mike's
set
saying in
when
case
this
we
is
can't
coming
have a
back.
meeting,
all right, so
in
would
case
it,
we're not
Well, I need
available.
you to at least continue this to a date certain.
I understand that, but can we wait on that vote right now? Find an interim meeting with, but we can't.
To the planning board, that's what I'm waiting
so why don't we do this? Why don't we continue this to the first meeting in February? And then, worst case scenario, we'll have them come for the workshop on the 26th,
for. The public hearing is continued February.
February 9th. Okay. All right, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Not opposed. All right. Councilor Committo requesting the workshop with the planning board on the proposed zoning amendments noted under 9D. Should say 9D, not 8D. So are we satisfied? Okay. All right, so we'll move on. Charter Review Commission Summary Report and scheduling of a potential workshop. Now, former Chair Janick, since your term has expired, but I appreciate you coming despite the expiration of your term.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I appreciate you all giving me the opportunity to come and speak before you. I hope you all have the document that was sent, a 14 or 15-page document. Yes, that's it. First off, before I get into the details of this, and what I'm hoping to do is just give you a summary of what we're proposing and what the justification is for any of them, and entertain any questions you might have. And toward the end, I'd like to talk with you about having a public hearing for the discussion of these proposals and any that you're going to present, because the responsibility ultimately lies with the council for what goes before the voters. But I want to mention just the members of the Charter Review Commission and their efforts over the course of this past year. We met, I think it was 21 times. So couple of times a month, we were meeting and discussing the charter. We went through it ad nauseum. It was a long, tedious process, but we hope that we brought forward some proposals that you'll find of value and be able to move forward. But my vice chair during this time and an essential person for me in providing me with administrative support was Diane Santa. Rob Coulter was the secretary who prepared the minutes and kept the notes and kept the agendas going and providing them all timely to the state. Nancy Driggs, Nancy Mello, Donna Edwards, Dennis Milborn, Ellie Byrne, and Jerry Larkin were the remaining members of the committee. And in front of you all, I want to thank them for their time and their support to me over the course of this past year. Moving on to the proposals, the first one that comes up is probably the most controversial. It's the changes proposed to the budget adoption process. So the first one that we've submitted, and I'm not going to read these to you, you're intelligent individuals, I don't have to do that, but the first one was to adjust the timeline so that we have the budget completed and prepared by May 1st, and that would give primarily the opportunity for the schools to have a fixed number that they can then take and use in making their decisions on whether or not they're going to issue layoffs. And for those that don't know, the schools have to do that. The layoffs are effective June 1st. So our budget process now that ends July 31st or June 30th, it is when we have to approve a budget by. That puts them in a bind when it comes past their window for that time, and they have to make guesses. During that time, teachers that might otherwise choose to stay in the district, valued members that we've invested time and energy in, that have built a relationship with students, may decide that they can't trust the uncertainty, and they may look elsewhere. So that's primarily the driver behind moving that time forward. We proposed some adjusted dates, but we spoke with the town administrator, we spoke with the town treasurer, we spoke with the schools. Everybody felt that it was possible to do this, to move this time frame forward, because we get the information from the governor of his budget proposals in January. And not often does a lot change in that. There's very small, shifting of dollars between here and there, but there's not a lot of things that happen from the original proposal to what's ultimately approved. So we know at that time roughly what the money is going to be for the community, for the town, and the ability for us to prepare a budget based on that.
Give me the thumbs up, or motion to adjourn?
Yeah. Good? All right.
Do we need? Are we good?
Please continue, sir.
Okay. That was the first item we had on his summary suggested changes. The second one has to do with, yeah,
Formatting question.
sure.
I did find this a little hard to follow sometimes because it's not clear, and I have to go back and forth between the current charter. So like, for example, in 301.3, there's language in there that seems to be inserted, and Budget Committee. That's in blue, but it's not underlined, where there's also language above that that is underlined that's inserted. So there's just different styles used, so it makes it a little bit hard to follow in some areas.
How do you get that drop?
I think,
This came with our packet.
Look at mine.
No, it didn't. We don't have.
It came with my packet. 10B. Okay.
No, keep going down in the packet. It's in the backup. It's attachment A.
Yeah, but it's not.
Counselor
No,
Burke.
his looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine looks
Okay.
better than what you.
All right, well, I'm
Totally
special.
Look at
different.
all the changes.
You got the changes, we know.
They're right here.
Well, they're there.
Yeah.
I see this right here.
is it because of the ink?
Oh, maybe
It
it's
might have
Yeah,
been-
page 5.
Go further, go further.
Yeah, page 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why. I jumped ahead. But in that section, it's hard to follow.
And to your point, Councilor Burke, there is several things in here that we're proposing. As I mentioned at the beginning, this was the most contentious discussion point that we struggled with in the course of the commission's tenure. And multiple ideas are put forward because we wanted to give you options. There's maybe not anything that's going to be the panacea for everything, but it'll at least give you something to look at, consider, and maybe move forward. That's entirely, as I said, up to your discretion. The second item was the expanding the role of the Budget Committee. This is still on the budget adoption process. We spoke with the members of the Budget Committee, and as an advisory board now, they as a unit, felt disenfranchised. They felt like it wasn't of any value what they were doing, basically. And that changed in 2022, I believe it was, with a council charter recommendation. No reflection on anybody who was on the council at that time. I don't even know for sure who of the members, current members were.
Councilor DeMedeiros probably was.
She's taking credit or blame, I'm not sure.
Well, there's reasons for this, but you don't want
Yeah.
me to comment right now.
I think we should hold that until we actually do our own workshop. This is just receipt of the recommendations at this point.
So does Mike have to go through them all?
I don't think you have to
Do we do
go
the work-
super detailed if you don't want to,
No,
but I
but
mean, if you want
I'll-
to hit the high points, sir.
Yeah, because
Sounds
at the
good.
workshop, then we can
Yep.
answer you back.
Sounds good. So with that, we had an expanded role for the Budget Committee, taking a couple of different shapes. It could return them back to the role of submitting the unified budget, or it could expand their authority to act as sort of a finance committee within the community, where they'd meet monthly, they'd review the records that are presented, and they'd offer guidance and insight to the council, because I know every member review is involved with multiple commissions or boards. You have a lot of draws on your time, and it's difficult for you to keep track of all this. If we had somebody who was focused on that, it might give an opportunity for them to be a little more attentive to the details and maybe present something that might benefit us as a town as a whole. The last item in that section was was changing it to turn it all back to the Budget Committee to create a budget with the ability for the town council and the school committees to present separate sections, separate budgets related to their section, the municipal or the schools. So since we'll be discussing that at the next opportunity, we'll move forward. Article 4, Section 401, we propose to change the term for the council to 4 years and have it roll over on 2 years. And this way you would have the opportunity to, as you've heard me say already before here, get your feet wet. There's a lot to absorb as a counselor and a lot to get involved with, and even the boards and commissions you're working with, if you hadn't had primary experience with them, you're there, you're learning what they're doing, you're learning the history of what's going on, and in 2 years, it takes you a year to get up to speed because you're only meeting maybe once a month or quarterly with some of these boards. You know, you have that time frame where you only have 1 year where you're really maybe at your most effective in working in that regard. So we propose to move it forward to a 4-year with the top, I think we said the top 4 vote getters moving over, and then the lower 3 going into back into the election pool. For Article 5, the town administrator, it was just a couple of changes regarding the qualifications. Essentially, it's returning the control to the town council for what you post. Removes the, it changes it to the candidates must satisfy minimum qualifications as established by the town council. You know what's happening in our community. You know what the role is for the town administrator as it evolves over the time, over years. So we want to give you back that ability to make the changes as necessary when you're hiring one. Article 6, financial services. We propose changing the town treasurer from elected to appointed. Currently, as an elected official, we're very fortunate with Denise Surratt. I will say it from my experience as the chair of the Budget Committee for several years and a member of the Budget Committee, from my experience in dealing with her in regard to the charter. She's a very knowledgeable, intelligent individual, and we're blessed to have her. That might not always be the case with an elected treasurer. And I don't know that I need to say any more. We can have more discussion on this if you need to.
I actually do have a question on that, because I'm
Sure.
looking at the language here. So the proposed appointment language, it seems like you determined it's the town council who will establish the qualifications, and then they'll follow the standard hiring process outlined in section 101 or 1001. And then the town administrator, or the treasurer would report to the administrator. So I'm assuming that,
With a dotted line to the council.
Yeah, I would-
Whatever shape that is going to need to be taken.
just out of curiosity, was it any discussion mentioned as to, typical practice for, like, for instance, I mean, this is effectively the CFO of the town. So normally that would be believe, appointed by the board if we were in the private sector.
Personnel board?
No,
Or-
like the board
Oh,
of
the
the
board of
organization.
directors.
Yeah,
Correct.
so that's something just to consider.
You're certainly within your rights to adjust how we do this. It's our recommendation that it become.
I'm just curious
an
if there was any
appointed
discussion
position.
along those lines, or if it was always envisioned as a direct report to the administrator.
No, there was a lot of discussion as
Okay.
to how it would go. And it's, there's no silver bullet answer here. And it's really going to come down to what you think. She works directly with Patrick currently, and in speaking with the administrator, she works very effectively with him, so,
Well, I don't disagree. Our current treasurer is phenomenal.
yes. Budget Committee is just some repeats of some of the items from above. And then that's the 703. And then 903, we have a mention in there of volunteer firefighters for the fire department, which have not been within the community for a number of years. And it was actually the fire chief who had suggested that this be removed, so we accepted his recommendation. For the town planner, we suggested that this be a new position added. As you've had discussions already this evening, and you'll be voting on later, this is something that we have, but it's become apparent to many of us, certainly the members of the CRC, that in our current state with the regulations that we're facing, that a planner is necessary, and this is something that we wanted to get codified and written into the charter. And then for boards and commissions, there was some suggestions made. The planning board, this is basically to get it in compliance with state law, that they have a chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. And the planner works in conjunction with that. That was just adding and doing a little language to kind of dictate what they would be doing and who they would kind of work with. Section 1002, the zoning board of review. Again, these were suggestions by the chair, lease, and these are for compliance with the state law, Rhode Island state law for the most part. Personnel board, and this was as a result of the discussion earlier about the town administrator. This was kind of a clarification as to how this process would work. The school committee, they had suggested that the removal of the word annual for the election of officers because they're appointed or elected biannually, and they choose their president biannually, and that's how their chairperson, that's how they've been doing it.
So I have a question for you on that.
Yeah.
Under the current charter, if they haven't elected a new chair, vice chair, treasurer, they're effectively out of compliance, is what you're telling me?
I would defer to the solicitor.
The school committee.
We used to do it every 2 years, but when I was on there.
But if our charter says they have to do it annually, I mean, effectively, they're
Yeah.
in violation of the charter right now.
Yeah, they are, John.
If the charter says so, they could be, yes.
Okay.
I'm not aware of that language. As you know, I don't represent the school committee, so.
You represent the town.
I do.
So, all right, thank you, sir.
So
Sorry.
we hope to get reality in compliance with the language.
Right now.
Pardon me?
I think it's
We're just publicly broadcasting that there might be a charter
And-
complaint. For the school committee watching at home, calm down.
The last item was to just remove the requirement that copies of minutes be on file. It's a paperwork process that's not necessary with the electronic age. So, at
Wonderful.
this point, I want to thank you again for your time. I look forward to when we will be able to set up a,
Just real quick,
Councilor Burke.
yes.
real quick question again. So the attachment A, that language came out of your commission?
Yeah,
So the
Yes.
commission voted to put that language forward?
yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
But again, we're not attorneys. We had the benefit of our solicitor with us at times, but that wasn't necessarily what drove the language. So we know that there might need to be some i's and t's dotted and crossed.
So if it's acceptable to the council, and obviously we're not taking a vote here, but perhaps we can inspire our solicitor to take a look at the draft language before we have said workshop. Mr. Solicitor? Yep. He's looking to see if we're filing a charter complaint.
No, I'm just trying to see. So I think the most feasible way to do this is the council should have a work session and decide which one you have a little bit of appetite for, and then I can work on those that you have an appetite for, and then rather waste my time on stuff that you have no intention of passing.
Ms.
Or
Jones.
going forward.
Madam Clerk, when would you like to have this entire thing buttoned up by, so that it doesn't burden your office?
So normally, it would have to be to the state in August, early August. I don't know if they're moving up any of the dates. There was talk. So you should have something done so that you have a public hearing in June, early June. So you can wrap things up for July, and I can get it in front of the Board of Canvassers, because they also have to approve the
Okay.
language and send it to the state.
So
You
if
have to approve the ballot question.
Yes.
So if it please the council, either the next agenda or the next meeting or the first meeting in February, agenda permitting, we think we should go through all of these proposed changes.
Yeah, a special workshop, because it's going to be a while.
Listen, I'm trying to streamline things here.
I think we should have a special workshop.
Well, if we break it up in chunks, like we just received the Charter Review Commission's recommendations, I think that we go through each one of these and then just decide up or down what we actually want the solicitor to review language on. And then, obviously, we as the legislative board have the opportunity to add additional items. So, for instance, a good one would be the Charter Review Commission missed the town clerk as either being a 4-year election cycle or appointed, because the clerk is currently on 2-year cycles. So,
We also have a town sergeant.
For the record, it had been discussed, but we felt Joan does such a good job that we'd leave it alone.
Yeah, but. Yeah, so every 2 years she has to
Yeah.
run.
Put signs out.
so anyways, that's my thought, if that's acceptable to the council.
I think it's going to consume a lot of our discussion. And we already just pushed the zoning amendments to that first February as well.
And then perhaps the second one. But we'll get it in at least, I think at least taking a look at the existing language that was presented to us as the first step, and do it as a multi-step process, because we do have to have a hearing and everything buttoned up by June, but knock out the stuff that's in front of us first. and then-
But, I mean, the way you're proposing this is just to say yea or nay, give the language to the solicitor, let him look at it and come back, but that's kind of,
I don't think, well, I'm not speaking for the council president, but I believe what I'm looking for is you say, this is the direction we want to go. We like this proposal. This
Right.
language, I can already tell you, needs to be refined a lot. So, not a lot, I shouldn't say that. But so,
I mean, but just sending
He
that
wrote
to you
most of
without
it,
any
so-
input from us.
Say it again?
I think it's going to take a lot of discussion.
Yeah, just sending that to you without any input from us is kind of a waste of everybody's time.
That's what he said.
Well,
That's
can
what
we,
I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you,
I-
Craig.
I don't think John is thinking that way, though, are you?
I'm saying we should take a look at what we want to conceptually move forward out of what was presented to us.
Yeah.
but shouldn't we have a
But you want to send it
discussion?
over, we should discuss that before we
As a
send it
group.
over.
Yes.
Right?
I think
Correct.
we're all in violent agreement.
Okay.
That- To do it at a regular meeting or a budget
Well,
workshop?
we're in violent agreement to do it.
Yeah.
When, I don't know.
I'm saying sooner rather than later to at least look at the stuff that was presented. I keep doing this, it's on my.
I'd rather just have a separate meeting, keep it to this and this only. It's just, you focus better, concentrate on one thing. A Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday works for me.
We have-
Set it up, John.
And the charter review could all come, so we can ask them questions why they were looking this way.
Madam Clerk, what is our next hold for
Oh, that's,
workshop?
Because I
Not
may
till
be,
March 30th.
I may be walking in thinking that this is a great idea, and then we discuss it and realize it's not really, or vice versa.
well, can we do, we haven't had a meeting all of December, so it's not like we're overworked, guys. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. So maybe the end of January? Oh, the town council's the 26th.
We've,
No, how about February?
you have the 9th and the 23rd.
Yeah, so why don't we do something like,
I would say either the 9th or the 23rd we'll dedicate to this.
but we might have other business. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. Well, we're saying we want to do it separate. Like, should we make a motion? I'd like to have a separate workshop of the budget, of the charter review.
Is that a motion?
Yes, that's a motion.
Second.
We're just, I mean, we don't really need a motion because we're just
Well,
talking
we
about
need
scheduling.
consensus. Like, if the council wants to have a workshop.
How about we leave it to the clerk to contact you guys to figure out a date that works?
Yeah, and we'll also need,
And
yes,
try to review people.
so it's got to work with them. So why don't we do this? We'll have Madam Clerk quarterback this process as far as scheduling the workshop and coordinating with the charter review members. In the month of February.
Yes. Yeah, but, yes.
All right.
Thank you all for your
Thank
time.
you, sir. All right, next item on the agenda is Mr. Janes and the Open Space Commission. Discussion and possible vote to approve the Hicks Farm project purchase and sale extension addendum. Mr. Janes. He's coming.
As you know, Open Space Commission has been working on this project hand in glove with the Tiverton Land Trust. Pam Thompson, the president of the Land Trust, is here as well. And this is simply a request to extend the existing purchase and sale agreement to give us more time to raise the funds to make this happen. The family has agreed to this, and this will be about an 18-month extension.
Okay.
We don't have, they're awaiting their attorney's final approval on the document, which I don't expect any, we did find a typo in it, but I don't expect any other changes. And so we're asking the town council authorize the town administrator to sign this once we have a completed document. And at the same time, I'm happy to announce a couple of updates on the fundraising front. We have received verbal confirmation that the grant application that we submitted to DEM is going to be awarded to us in the total amount of $500,000. That's the maximum.
Perfect.
So that's a nice addition, and I'll ask Pam to, the Land Trust has been heading up the private foundation and private fundraising piece of this. I'll let Pam update that.
So we have raised $186,349 from individual donations. That's primarily composed of one large donation, some medium size between $5,000 and $20,000, and then lots of small donations. And we received a $50,000 grant from the Bafflin Foundation. And this month, we are kicking off fundraising teams to hit up large donors. I shouldn't say hit up. To solicit
but you did.
kindly, large individual donors, foundations, and then some of the larger business donations, so we can say we have X amount from such and such a business, and we would love it if others would join in. So we are going to be knocking on doors and writing grants, et cetera. And it's all going well, and we will make it to the finish line on this. I'm confident we will. I'm feeling really good, so.
Wonderful
Yeah,
news.
thanks.
So, Mr. James, question for you on this extension. Hypothetically speaking, if the Land Trust is exceptional at fundraising, would we be able to close sooner? This is just kicking it out?
Oh, it's on or before.
Okay.
Is the language, so,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, sooner the
Councilor Burke.
better.
Make a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign the addendum to purchase and sale agreement pending agreement with the owners of the property.
Motion been made, seconded by several. Any further discussion? By Councilor Committo and others. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? All right, go get them, guys. All right, next item on the agenda is Assessor Robert. Discussion and possible vote to award contract for 2026 statistical revaluation to Catalis. Mr. Assessor.
Good evening. As most of you are aware, the town is mandated to conduct revaluations once every 3 years. We do a full revaluation and then 2 statistical updates. This will be the second statistical update of that 9-year cycle. We did receive 2 bids for this project. We also received a letter from one of the vendor companies that's out there, revaluation companies, saying that they would not bid on the Tiverton project this year. So we received 2, one from Catalis, also formerly known as New England Appraisal, Northeast Appraisal, and Vision Appraisal. Vision submitted a bid of $247,500, and Catalyst submitted a bid of $160,035. But as I have discussed with the town council prior, I've set up some new procedures internally where I'm going to be taking on some of the project details and process. So when I went back to Catalyst and let them know what would be the reduction if I took on some of this, they lowered their bid by $30,000. So that would be a savings to the town. So their ultimate bid is $130,035, and because it is a state-mandated revaluation update, the state does pay 60% of this. So ultimately, we do have to pay up front, but the state will reimburse us $78,021. So I do recommend that we award the bid to Catalyst.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion to Councilor Committo?
Question.
Yes, sir.
So did we notify or give that same detail to Vision?
Yes,
And they didn't come back with another number?
they did not.
Very good.
Okay. Do I have Councilor Perry?
Catalyst? The last 3 revaluations have been Catalyst, yep. Again, they were known as a different name at that time.
Councilor Janick?
So there is a big discrepancy in the cost. So are the tasks the same?
The tasks are the same. Vision, that they are, what we don't have to pay with Catalyst because we currently have their software, so there's no charge for that. Vision is charging us roughly $70,000 for their software. The problem with their software is that it's been problematic. We did have Vision in town several years ago,
Right.
and they admittedly released a software package to us prematurely. They still had us pay for it. So now they have this new improved software, but they want us to pay for it again. But my understanding is that one of the major glitches that they did have, it still has.
That was the one that.
Everybody got taxed, kind of
Everyone
funny.
was taxed wrong.
Well, yeah, but there was other things internally. Whenever we did data entry, these errors would pop on up. They didn't cause any issue as far as the data is concerned, but it was hindering data entry. And the problem with that, the main error that kept on popping up was if you went to take a look at a parcel and you just simply went from one parcel to another parcel, it asked if you wanted to save the changes you've made. Well, I didn't make any. But when you went to a parcel that you did, that error didn't pop on up. So it was a little confusing, and some of the data entry clerks were confused. Did I make a change? Did I not make a change? So it was an issue. They promised that they resolved it, but my understanding is still part of the program.
So the Northeast data, database, the software, you're familiar with, and
Yeah, we've been working on it for the last
So there
several
wouldn't be a
years.
learning curve with it either?
No.
Okay.
I have a motion to award the contract to Catalyst for the 2026 statistical revaluation.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. One piece of discussion, Mr. Assessor. Catalyst was the entity when we did the full-blown reval that effectively got a lot of stuff wrong, correct?
It wasn't a lot of stuff wrong.
Decks that weren't
It
there.
was one glaring error.
That was Vision.
There were 5 properties on Sepauwett that were overassessed.
I
Well-
thought that was Vision.
Was that Vision or was that
No,
Catalyst?
no, that was Northeast, but,
Oh.
whether or not they were overassessed is a matter of opinion, and it
It was
wasn't.
front page of the paper, sir.
Well, right.
I jest.
But there's more, well, just in a public forum about, a revaluation project, we take this very seriously. We want to ensure that everyone is properly assessed. So I do take it very seriously.
I know you do.
There are, obviously, when we do mass appraisals, we're assessing 8,500 parcels. There's going to be errors, there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be either data entry errors, or we just might get something wrong. And whether it's a full revaluation or not, when we do have crews out in the field doing inspections, a lot of times we're not allowed on the property, people refuse, which is all their right. But when that happens, we estimate what the interior of the house may be. So sometimes we get it wrong, sometimes we get it right. So we just want to make sure that when we do these revaluations, the key thing that I always stress is that once property owners get notification of the new assessed value, reach out to the revaluation company or myself to ask questions. Even if you think that the value is right, just if there are any questions about the process, transparency, how we figure these things out, I always encourage property owners to reach out to the revaluation company first, because that's the first line, and then I will be the second line.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? None opposed?
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the DPW Director Silvia, discussion and possible vote to award a contract for a 40-yard container rental to Excel Recycling. Mr. Director.
Evening,
Seems like a
Council.
pretty straightforward request.
Yes, it's just that Excel is offering more per ton, and it would change where Middleborough Recycling had a much lower per ton price, and it was never going to, it was a flat rate. So that's why we suggest that we go with Excel.
Wonderful. Any questions for the director? Otherwise, I'd like to entertain a motion to award the contract. Motion been made, seconded. Motion by several, seconded by Councilor Perry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, next item on the agenda is DPW Director Silvia, discussion on Cynthia Ave Engineering Design bids received. Mr. Director.
Yeah, so we went out after a town council meeting, I believe early November, to find out how much it would cost the town to bring a unaccepted, unimproved road to town standards to make it an accepted road. We went out to RFP. We had 3 engineers get back. I just want you to understand that this cost is just the initial cost to design it and to give us a construction estimate. Once those prices come in, if we would move forward, we would then still need to go out to bid for the actual construction of the road, which would be another added cost. And it probably would come in higher than the engineer's estimate. That's how things have been going lately. So M&J Engineering is the lowest bidder at $46,665. I guess the question is this something the town wants to move forward with and spend the money to bring a town road up to town standards?
Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Just as a reminder, just to refresh your memories, this was part of an issue before the council nearly 11 years ago. It was given to the then town administrator and the then DPW director after discussion with the council specific to Cynthia Ave. The then council directed the town administrator and the DPW director to do an engineering study. It was never done. So the director and I went out to bid to do what should have been done nearly 11 years ago. And now it's back in front of you to consider if we want to engage the bidder to, and just as the director said, just to merely look at what we need to do to bring the street up to acceptable standards. So we're just checking, the director and I are checking a box that unfortunately should have been done by our predecessors, but never was. The issue on Cynthia Avenue also, so you know, while that was going to go out to bid and go for an engineering study, the town or the council directed the then town administrator and the then DPW director to grade the street at least twice a year and fill any potholes. From what I understand, that has not been done on a consistent basis. I and the director and I actually went to Cynthia Avenue over the summertime, and it is like driving on the moon.
Yep.
So that is something that if we do anything tonight, I think what you should do is refresh at least that directive to myself and the DPW director, so the director can hire a grader and go out and grade not only Cynthia, but any other streets that we might have an arrangement with to grade, and bring them up to at least whatever directives that you want to give to myself and the director.
Councilor Committo.
Yes, thank you. So, I definitely agree with either keeping the road maintained or graded from Passer, but you just mentioned there's several other streets. So, how do we know what agreements we're in with these several other streets? Is that documented somewhere, or is it we used to do this, we used to do that? Like, so where are we with that?
So,
There are several other streets.
There's 100
I
and...
believe there's 6 that we've agreed to at least grade twice a year.
That-
But
that's what I'm looking
unfortunately,
for.
that's not enough with rain, the type of traffic that are on these roads now compared to what may have been on them
So
4
that-
years ago. Winter weather, we've
Right,
already
so
had
that's,
people come in and
that's
ask us
6.
to regrade.
It's documented somewhere?
Yep.
Cynthia Ave.
Yeah, sorry, Councilor Committo. The solicitor will make this.
Yeah, but I think we're
I
setting a
understand, but we
precedence
mentioned-
here.
He asked us, the town administrator just asked us,
I know, and that, we're not gonna take a vote about whether we should do that as well.
We're actually not going to take any votes on this item tonight because this is on for discussion.
It's only discussion only.
so I'm
Right, well,
discussing.
which was I was hoping
Well, no,
that
discussion
maybe-
for Cynthia Avenue, excuse me, for the engineering only. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
And I know he brought something else, but
just by way of history.
we can't go other roads and whatnot, 6 other roads right now. We can do that at a later date, but just not on the agenda.
Well, the administrator just asked for direction on...
I know, and I'm not gonna allow you to give him direction, because that's not on the agenda.
Very good.
So I'll put it on the agenda for the next time.
Can,
Councilor DeMedeiros, then Councilor Janick.
The only problem I have with this is I know the conditions of some of our streets. So we're setting kind of a precedence here if we decide to, there's other roads that we've accepted that we're not maintaining very well either, I will bet you. So I'm not against it, but I want you all to know that this cost times it by multiple amounts because other people are gonna come to us and ask. And
So
it's
we-
not that I
think
don't
we
wanna
already-
do
I think
it.
we already graded this road once this year, correct?
Twice.
Twice already.
Spring and fall, just before winter, unfortunately.
No,
like I
the
said,
grading I have no problem with. I'm looking at the engineering, I'm looking at all these costs.
Councilor Janick.
Is this for the 700 feet, or is this from the road all the way to the top? I
It's
know,
to the last driveway before the business out back. It's approximately 700.
Oh, all right.
so it's basically the whole
Yeah.
thing,
Yes, sir.
correct?
but this is an accepted road? It's
Is it
not,
accepted?
I have
It's-
not seen it on an accepted list.
No, it's,
so I guess my question is, why did we have an agreement just for that road? Did we have an agreement with other roads too? And I'm not,
So
Yes,
I
there
can
are.
just,
I
I
don't-
can just talk about Cynthia. So, and
Okay.
so before the solicitor has a conniption, we'll, in a good
Is
way.
Cynthia
So
accepted?
in a good way, regarding Cynthia, as I stated, how this came up, and I know Ms. Sanford is in the crowd. Come on up, Audrey. If you'll allow her to speak, how this happened was she approached me about specific to Cynthia, that it was not being properly maintained, and that she provided the research in the prior council minutes to me, and through with the help of the assistance of the clerk, that there was directive given to the town administrator and the DPW director that never was followed through on,
Okay.
which brought us here today.
but is this an accepted road?
Let's let her speak at the
On
request
April
of the administrator.
27th of 2015, you yourself made the
Well, that's what I'm
motion to
asking.
accept
Okay,
Cynthia Avenue.
so it is accepted
And
road.
at that time, it,
Oh, see, he keeps saying no.
okay.
Hold on, let me interrupt you, I'm sorry.
I know the
Go let her
discussion on
finish and we'll go
Cynthia.
back.
Yes,
I
let's
was there.
let.
On April 27th, 2015, okay, prior to this, I had to hire an attorney because the town had stopped our services, okay? I had to hire an attorney to prove that it was a town road, which we did. The town council then on April 2015, I believe it was April 27th, and I believe, Mr. Committo, I had emailed you because of the discussion on the roads last time. Ms. DeMedeiros, you made the motion to accept Cynthia Avenue.
In 2015?
In 2015.
Okay.
It was
I remember the
voted upon.
discussions. Okay.
Okay. And accepted as a grandfathered street. And you accepted it as a grandfathered street so that it would not have to be brought up to today's standards, but you had said that you were going to pave it, put it out to bid, which it had gone out to bid, and at that time, I think it was 85,000, if I remember correctly, but there's several meeting minutes. But this road at that time was voted on and accepted by the council. And they accepted it as a grandfathered street because it was put in back before zoning. So that's why they accepted it, so it doesn't have to be brought up to today's standards. Prior to that, we had entered into an agreement where the town was going to grade it twice per year, which they have not been doing, and every time I call the DPW, and this gentleman I've only spoken to once, it's been prior, I get a hard time to have the potholes taken care of. But that's why I hired the attorney, that's why we went through everything with the prior solicitor, and the road was accepted back in 2015. And Mr. Wojcik at that time was the town administrator. I had come to a council meeting because other roads were being done. Cynthia Avenue was the next one on the list. And I'm not telling you anything that you can't go back and look at all the meeting minutes, review all the meetings on camera. So Cynthia Avenue, I had to spend the money for an attorney. These other roads have not, but we got to the point where it was accepted.
So it is accepted.
It was accepted at that time.
Was there a case that you hired, or is it just like, was there litigation regarding the street, or was it just?
No, I hired an attorney here, and we came to a resolution with the town council and Mr. Tights at the time.
Oh, okay. So I'm just, again, I'm not disputing anything that she said. I don't know all the facts, but if I look at the accepted street list that's on the town's website, Cynthia Avenue is not on that list.
Correct, because it never got updated.
Okay.
And I've been asking since then to have it updated, because every time this happens, and Ms. Shabbat has to get a phone call from me, I have to go to the town council, town hall to try and get it done. And that's why I'm at the frustration level that I'm at this point.
Do you have all of this research readily available that you'd be able to send to the clerk for distribution to the council? I think that would be helpful.
Yep, and I believe I have actually the meeting minutes right in my phone. I can forward at any given moment. I have everything. I have all the research that I did, but.
Yeah, I just, again, because for 2015, I was not here.
I understand, but it's on,
I wasn't here either, but just looking through what Audrey has sent, I think there's a discussion to be had on what accepted at that town council meeting meant. Did they accept that they would continue to maintain the road and give it services? Or did they make it an accepted road? Because the town standards to be an accepted road in terms of it is town, it will be maintained, it is brought up to standards, it's not there. So it would be hard for the council to make it a fully accepted town road, because it doesn't, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do, and so I think from this perspective.
I'm just outside of not being here in 2000 and what accepted means.
And you're absolutely correct. I mean, I would
John,
love to go do the
can I make a
research
suggestion?
myself, but I think if it's readily available, I think we should absolutely take a look at that and then make sure that we're at least adhering to the agreement.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
So can we table this and keep this open till the next meeting and put all the proper language so we can discuss all of this and not just this one street? So we can bring everything into this, because I think this is something that should be done town-wide, not just on Cynthia. You're smirking, but like, it's how I feel.
I'm smirking because I agree with you.
So if we're gonna do this, just.
I am dying to have a discussion with.
We can't
so that
discuss
we
it
can
right now,
understand.
but I think we need to hold off on this engineering. I'm in favor of getting this engineering done, but I think the discussion needs to be bigger than what we're having just on this one street right now. I think all our roads need to be categorized in different groups, And we, as a council, need to accept these groups and what we're gonna do to fix these roads going forward.
So,
And put it in a document, in writing, so we don't have to second guess all this stuff again.
I agree.
And get it, I don't care if it's one road a year. Get it up to standards and fix, if it's not, if it's private, it's private. But I think we should hold off on this and do it at the next meeting. so we
And I
can
would
continue
also suggest, because I know as it relates specifically to Cynthia, one of the things that you said that stuck out to me was that it was agreed upon that there was, that this road was gonna be done, you had an approximate cost for what it was gonna take, so somewhere, hopefully in town, there is some record of what that engineering work was, because we wouldn't have just willy-nilly gone out and
Mr.
paid.
Belucci at the time was the DPW director.
That goes way back.
You've got it? But if we have copies of whatever engineering was done to get it there before the 65,000, and we could leverage, then maybe that shortcuts us and we don't have to go spend $50,000 on a new engineering study and then go spend probably 120,000 plus on one single road.
Meanwhile, is it being, are the potholes being, no.
The DPW director did send somebody down to do the street. They did not hire a grader, and I do appreciate the fact that they came out and they took care of the potholes, but unfortunately, with the condition of the road, if the grader does not come out and do it, it doesn't last. Like right now, it's terrible.
Well, even if we don't do it more often.
Yeah.
So could we at least do that while we're waiting?
And the suggestion, I think, here is if,
So, right, but so
No.
just so you know, with winter weather, right? Every time you grade it and it snows or rains, we're gonna have to go out and, do you want us grading every gravel road in the town after every snowstorm?
But we're not talking about it every road.
So
Mike
do you want me to
keeps
do
saying
this?
that.
You let me know.
Yes, an emotion.
So
And-
there's really nothing to table.
Yeah,
This isn't up for a
just
vote.
discussion.
Right.
So
Well,
it's
that's
really
what I
to
was
bring
hoping
it
we'd
back
have a
for
more
fuller discussion and
general
possible vote.
And to look at all of the roads. Because I want to make sure, it should not be this hard. And
thank you, I know.
to make sure that if we're making promises, and I'm saying we, I mean, most of us were not here in 2015, but if the town council is making promises, we want to make sure that we have that action plan and we're following through on it, so that we don't have somebody coming before us 10, 12 years later and nothing was done, and to no fault of anyone in this room.
No, but
Just to bring,
if we said, yes, go and do it, and it's not being done, and we didn't know,
so,
I call, believe me,
you've called
and I think
them.
Ms. Shabbat can attest that I am regularly having to go down there because I go to the DPW. They tell me, oh, it's not on the accepted list. I don't know how to get it on the accepted list because I've been trying, and I wouldn't have to keep going through this.
To be honest with you. Like, so this
No,
this
we
part
do.
of my frustration too is like, obviously I can't speak about it tonight, but we need to categorize these streets, straighten them out, and come up with a plan.
I understand.
on
I
how we're gonna-
volunteered for
Yes.
much of my time on the street committee, but every street that we brought here in front of the council, nothing was done with, so it dissolved because
gonna
we
try
were
to
wasting
change it
many
and fix it
hours.
And go forward with a plan, I hope.
We had a street committee at one point, too.
Right,
So-
and I put several hours on that, but every street that was brought at the council at that time did not want to make any moves on it.
so just to bring this discussion back, it sounds like Councilor Committo would like this on a future agenda, whether that's the next agenda or the one thereafter. To have a deeper discussion and then the ability to vote on this particular street or all streets.
I'd like to have a conversation on everything, we can't just talk about.
Okay. So,
I mean, I'm in full support of fixing this street, be the first one, but we still have to have an action plan for everybody else. Or how we're gonna title our street. Something.
So-
This has been
I
going
don't
on
know
since
what
I've
can
been
and can't say,
forever.
so, but you're asking to have a workshop for the zoning ordinances, correct?
Yeah.
Your zoning ordinance, Article 6, unaccepted roads. Just so you know, when we start having these discussions, each landowner served by an unaccepted street or road shall be equally liable and responsible for maintenance and repair of the street or road. In addition, since it does not meet town standards, such an unaccepted street or road shall remain an unaccepted street or road. The town shall provide no services such as trash pickup, road sanding, plowing, road maintenance, or on unaccepted streets or roads.
I've lived on
So-
Cynthia Ave for
No, no, I'm
48
just-
years,
Wait,
and
be-
we've
before
had
we-
all that service.
Before we go off the
I'm just trying,
rails here,
as you go
I
to
think-
have this workshop, understand
I read it.
that you need, okay.
I
that you
understand
need-
it.
These are the discussions you need
Yes.
to be having.
Absolutely.
So-
We can't have tonight.
Right.
And it's, so from a timing perspective, if there is zoning ordinance amendments that are gonna be in front of us that we are having a workshop on, and then we have to ultimately vote on, it would be premature for us to then go and open up the street component if we approve language that says this isn't,
But
That's
it's
it.
existing, okay.
Yes.
No,
We
okay.
need to have a plan, John, before we start changing zoning. We need to know what direction we're gonna go in.
Look, I don't disagree with you, I just,
And with all due respect, Cynthia Ave was accepted by the town council. Again,
As
in
in-
2015.
And believe me, I'm not saying, I'm gonna take the same position the solicitor said, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I don't have it in front of me as it pertains to this discussion, so I'll assume you're both correct and incorrect until I see proof for that, which is why I asked if you have all of this research handy, if you
I
could.
do, and I'll have
if
it
you
at
can
the
get
town
it to-
hall this week.
Perfect. That would be helpful, then we can review, because again, we like to deal in facts. But I think the purpose of this being on, not for a vote, but for a discussion, is so that the council can see what the engineering looked like on just this one road before we even get to actually fixing it and bringing it up to town standards. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
I think it just wasn't.
All right, so next item on the agenda is Councilor Paull. Thank you, Mr. Director, by the way. Councilor Paull, discussion and possible vote to purchase 6 new automated external defibrillators, which are AEDs, to replace the 5 current units and to have a spare. Councilor Paull.
So as some know, I unofficially work with the fire department, as in monitor AEDs outside of the fire department itself, so in conjunction with. This request here is to get 6 new automated defibrillators. Now, this is replacing all of the recreation units. The recreation units are heart scene units. There is a loose recall on them, and the last set of pads that we ordered from back in August, it took over 3 months, and we still didn't get the pads in. They're just not a reliable unit. And as far as getting the pads themselves, they're not reliable. Again, on top of the recall. One of these units would replace the one that's at Town Hall that is currently completely outdated, and one would be to have a spare. An issue we ran into twice this past summer is once at the beach and then once over at Booger Marsh. An AED was used, the supplies needed to be ordered, and then that area went without a unit for quite some time until the pads came in. So, in the backup, you guys can see that Coro Medical, in trading in all of the units, Coro Medical came in at $5,700, which is very reasonable. We've also done business with them in the past. AED team out of Connecticut came in at $7,866. One other vendor did not respond to several inquiries. But both of these units, both of these vendors here, we have done business with in the past. So essentially, the request would be to approve, I believe, the Coro Medical estimate of $5,796.
Councilor Burke.
I'm not disagreeing with the need. I mean, I defer to people who know this stuff better than I do. And I also want to take the opportunity, point of personal privilege. Chief, I want to thank Mike, Tyler, and Joe for my opportunity, not that I wanted it, to ride on the new rescue. They did a great job. Just recently, but I'm not done yet. Wouldn't this be more appropriate going forward to be part of the fire department's budget?
Part of the budget? So the recreation units came from recreation, they purchased those.
Okay,
2 of the units were a grant that I obtained,
yeah.
and one of them is, the spare would be a new unit altogether.
Right, I guess, to me, it's a rescue, type operation, wouldn't it be better going forward? I'm not saying not to do something with this, but going forward to incorporate it into the fire
you wanna
department's
add a
budget
supply
for
line
any
to that
type of
budget, that's fine.
equipment like
I'll
this.
take it.
Well, how long are they good for?
Batteries are good for 3 to 5 years, pads are good for 3 to 5
So
years.
I think it should be part of their budget. I agree with Mr. Burke, Councilor Burke.
David, are these
Chief.
strikers?
The physio?
The physios?
So the physio controls fall in line with the fire department's new
Yeah.
equipment.
Yep, everything we have in the fire department's physio control.
Physio.
So if, my recommendation was we purchase something that would be compatible with the
I
fire
like
department.
physios.
Versus buying just what the cheapest thing out there is. Because there are AEDs out there you can spend that are
Yeah.
much cheaper. But the fire department is 100% all physio control, and that is what all of our trucks carry, all the cars carry, so.
And we can get supplies.
Yes, we have supplies right in our station, so if something happens at the beach, something happens at the concert again, we're able to resupply that stuff right away, and then we just order it and backfill our stuff. And our supplier comes every other week to refill our supplies for the rescue anyway.
Councilor DeMedeiros.
One other question. Does this aid, I heard that some AEDs are now showing exactly the rhythm you're looking
It
at.
depends what model AED you're purchasing.
Yeah, because I have to tell you, when I was at the park, because I'm a nurse, I was uncomfortable when it told me to do it.
Just follow the
Because
directions.
I know, but I couldn't see the rhythm, so I was like, okay, we're gonna do it, but I couldn't see the rhythm.
So physio does make two different
All right.
models. One does show a rhythm, the other one does not, so
I'm
it
not a good-
depends which one is purchased.
I know
don't
these are
which
lay
one.
people, but I just,
The units the fire department has in their vehicles show a rhythm.
Yes.
Police department units, which are new and which are these.
Do not show.
Do not show.
Yes.
well, you know what I'm saying, David, I mentioned it then when you.
Are those
So if I could
Those
just
CR2s?
expedite this conversation, I think Councilor Burke is correct, and I think that if we were to purchase these new ADs to line up with the materials the fire department already has in stock,
Yes.
it essentially gets us on that schedule, and then on a go-forward basis, whether it's at a casino capital meeting in the future, if we're getting 3 to 5 years out of these things, or just on a ritualistic basis out of supplies.
I mean, we have to remember to increase the budget because the pads are over, what,
Yeah.
$100?
Yeah, they're over $100 a piece for pads.
Well, we're about to get into budget season, so don't
And
forget, Councilor
luckily,
Committo.
they don't get used all the time, so the pads
Josh won't
unfortunately just go and expire.
All right. Councilor Janick?
Is there a grant available to purchase these? You did, Councilor Paull, purchase them under a grant in
So
the past?
well, no, the initial recreation unit back in 2016 came from Lifespan. The 2 units for the beaches came from St. Anne's. They graciously used their Phillips in-house team and donated 2 units. Other than that, the grants are pretty much dried up. I know that Rhode Island EMA puts out a grant every year, but the fire department usually grabs it for their equipment, so.
And
So-
one other question. Do they have to have the batteries checked monthly? I have to check mine monthly, but we're under hospital regulations. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
you
different.
can get away with it quarterly, even twice a year. I, again, wearing the other hat, I inspect them quarterly.
So, Councilor Committo?
I'd like to make a motion.
That's exactly what I was going to do. Thank you,
Okay,
sir. Go
so,
ahead.
I'd like to make a motion and have the chief look into his contacts with Physio Control and see what kind of pricing he can get buying multiples, buying through his contact and his connection that takes care of their equipment at the fire department. Pricing might be a little bit better.
So not to exceed, or you wanna, whatever you wanna do for a
Either
number.
exceed or
Yeah,
not
I
to
mean,
exceed.
not to exceed, whatever, yes, I like the Physio Control price, it's pretty good, but
Yeah, that's
maybe through his contact,
Well, not
Which
to
I
exceed
can
this
email
amount.
her right afterwards.
5,000, let's go with $6,000. Not to exceed 6,000.
I think that's good.
Where's it coming?
And
Yes.
All right, so Councilor Committo made a motion to direct the chief to
Second.
price out not to exceed $6,000 to replace the 5, or purchase 6 new AEDs. And the funds will come from municipal capital 640. Price out and purchase, yep. Okay.
And how would you like me to handle when I get the quote? Do you want me to email it to the town administrator and he'll distribute it to you?
Because then I'll touch base with you, because we gotta return the other ones when they come in and all that
Yep.
stuff.
How many
All
are you
right.
trading in? All 6?
Yeah,
I didn't hear a second, so I'm going to second Councilor Committo's motion.
second.
Oh, you did, wonderful. All right, so motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Councilor Committo is in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Janick, discussion and possible vote to extend zoning revisions committee end date to December 31, 2026. Councilor Janick.
Okay, so the zoning revision subcommittee was put together a few years ago when the state started to change some of the zoning laws, and we needed to, initially, to ensure that our zoning ordinances were in line with what the state said. As we started going through that, we found that it was a lot more work, there was a lot more to look at. These ordinances had not been reviewed for almost 2 decades, so we really still need to do a lot more work. The comp plan, which was done in 2017, will be needed revision soon, and they will need the ordinances updated. And as we started to attempt to enforce some of the ordinances, we found that there were no ordinances that dealt with certain issues. And some of them had so many redundancies and mixed messages between different areas that we're trying to clean that all up. If you look at the attachment, it does list all of the different items that have been completed. This is as of the end of November. We have all of these items that have been completed. On the second page, we still have some in process. We're currently working on updating ordinances for signs, parking, and lighting, and then we still have a list of items to be completed. So we've been meeting twice a month for the past year, and we still have so many different areas to address. So I'm requesting that we extend our subcommittee to 12/31/2026, which would give us another year. Obviously, if we finish prior to that, we would finish. But this at least gives us a little bit of cushion to get the rest of this completed. So I'm asking for the council permission to extend, because at this point, we sunset on 12/31/2025.
I'll make that motion to extend this, the zoning revision subcommittee to December 31st, 2026.
Councilor Perry.
The subcommittee reports to
The subcommittee is part of the planning board. So the planning board is ultimately responsible for all of this. The planning board is so overwhelmed with all of the development that's coming in that it would be very, very difficult for them to be able to sit and do this. Prior to my involvement in this subcommittee, we were doing workshops like every other month on a Saturday and still not getting through all of the changes.
So you make recommendations?
We make recommendations to the planning board, they tweak, change, whatever, and then it comes to the council
Very good.
with public hearings.
So, Councilor Janick, I have a suggestion, or actually it's be directed to Councilor DeMedeiros. Given the fact that we are on the precipice of potentially hiring a full-time planner, something this town has not had in many, many years, would you be amenable to extending the subcommittee to July 1st of this year, given the fact that the new planner is going to, if assumed if the contract is ratified, take over the position, and being full-time, we'll have much more time to dig into the remaining items and probably speed the process up, rather than relying on a committee of volunteers to dig through this.
Well, that's up to Councilor
I
Janick if she wants me to change.
I would ask why you would want to do that. It is a group of volunteers. It does not cost the town anything. Very committed people. We have had our acting planner working with us. And I agree, a full-time planner will make things a little bit quicker, but if we come to July and we're not completed, then we have to come back and ask for more time. I don't understand why you think we need to do 6 months and
So my suggestion would be, because ultimately we've had effectively a 1/3 planner this entire time, which the whole purpose of this was to offload some of the work, to make recommendations to the planning board. And if we're gonna have a full-time planner, I mean, number one, I would wanna know the planner's assessment on some of the work that the committee's gonna do. Ultimately, the planner would be involved in that, and give him time to make a recommendation as to whether or not we would wanna continue with this subcommittee. We have multiple other committees that we can barely get a quorum for.
I don't want to change my motion.
Councilor Burke.
I agree, we're gonna have a full-time planner. I just also don't want to put too much on that person's plate right away. I think it's gonna take time for the administrator to work with that person, to really look at the lay of the land and prioritize. And so I think extending it for a full year still gives the administrator and that planner the opportunity to come back and say in 3, 6, 9 months, look, thank you, folks, you did a great job. We're ready to move on from this process. And it just gives us that wiggle room that's necessary. It doesn't preclude us from ending it at a sooner date at some point, but it gives us that wiggle room.
Agreed, and it's a small committee, it's a small subcommittee, but we have not had an issue getting a quorum, because they're a really dedicated committee, and they're working really hard on this, doing a lot of research, and if we finish early, then we finish early, but I don't know why we would try to cut it short.
So I have a couple of follow-up questions on some of the outstanding items too, if that's acceptable. And correct me if I'm getting this incorrect, but effectively, some of these zoning changes that are coming before us come from the planning board, which originate at the subcommittee?
Some yes, some no.
Okay. And then one of the items that's left outstanding is the review of the combined water study to determine impact on rezoning. I don't believe we have that, nor are we optimistic we're ever going to get that. And so that is an outstanding item, kind of could be something that leaves this committee in place
It could be.
effectively
It could, and
in
we may not,
perpetuity.
we may not finish that because of those issues. But it is part of our agenda.
Okay. And then just refresh my memory, when was this subcommittee created again?
I have been on this subcommittee since January of 2025, and it was...
It used to be Jay's.
It used to be Jay Edwards, Councilor Jay Edwards, and I believe he did it for a year, maybe?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. No, maybe 6 months.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe 6 months.
Okay. All right, well, you have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Get it done sooner, please. All right, next item on the agenda is the town administrator, discussion of possible vote to appoint Attorney Steven Antonucci of DeSisto Law as interim prosecution solicitor. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. As as I'm sure you saw in your consent agenda, we accepted the resignation of Matt Chappelle of Chappelle and Chappelle in Portsmouth. They've been our police, and just to be clear on this, they are our police prosecution attorney. They work with the police department because under Rhode Island law, we are required to prosecute all misdemeanor criminal cases in the district court. So the law firm of Chappelle and Chappelle, which I will shout out and give them thanks, they came to us after our former police prosecutor passed away, and then there was an interim issue that went on, and they stepped right up. Obviously, they represented Portsmouth at the time, and up until recently, they represented Portsmouth. So we accepted Attorney Chappelle's resignation. Attorney Antonucci, he was working with us and successfully prosecuted the Jacob Raposa case. This is only on an interim basis. It is my intent to go out to bid for a full-time police prosecutor. So this way, it'll just be seamless until we can go out to bid, and then it'll be back in front of you to appoint a full-time prosecutor after that bid is awarded.
All right, with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to appoint Attorney Antonucci of DeSisto Law as the interim prosecution solicitor.
So moved.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Councilor Committo.
This won't interfere with him once we go out to bid or RFP to get, this won't interfere with them putting in.
No.
He's free, if he's interested, he's free to put it in.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Town Administrator discussion and approval of legal services invoice of Attorney Lauren Jones related to Law Enforcement Officers Due Process Accountability and Transparency Act, Rhode Island General Law 4228-6-1, hearing Jacob Raposa in the amount of $22,920.84, representing the town's share from account 100-2813. I appreciate the state of Rhode Island taking Leobor and making it exponentially longer.
So how we love our acronyms. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. This kind of dovetails in, this was the case that was prosecuted by our interim prosecutor, and I know the solicitor can speak to this as well. Given the change of the law, the panel under the old Leobor rules with 3 police officers increased to 5, with 3 police officers, a judge, and an attorney. But under the law, the board in and of itself can hire their own legal counsel, and then the town and then the accused officer or union be responsible for half that bill. So Attorney Jones was appointed by the board with no influence by the town or the union because they are legally entitled to do that. So they did. And now we are legally obligated to pay half that bill. Fortunately, my predecessor, the prior town administrator, in prognosticating or just getting lucky, took portion of the former officer's salary when he was suspended and put it aside. So what I'm asking you under that account number is to utilize those funds to pay off this portion of the bill.
Okay.
So moved.
Councilor DeMedeiros' motion that we pay the bill from the account as listed. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilor Burke. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is acknowledgement of invitation for a joint budget workshop with the school committee and budget committee to be held tomorrow at the high school, correct? High school library, per Charter Provision Section 301B1. We have to do this by January 15th, so 6:30. Oh, sorry.
No,
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So we will be at the school committee's chambers at 6 o'clock tomorrow. All right. Next item on the agenda is, I just wanted to mention that to the council, that our state delegation has reached out to come in front of this body. I've invited them to come on the next scheduled meeting for the town council to discuss legislative priorities as they pertain to the town. So there are still a number of holdover bills related to altering some of the state's housing that are out there, but I did want to ask the rest of the council in advance, if possible, if there are specific town-related legislative priorities that we'd like to discuss, to provide those, I guess, to the clerk or to the administrator, so that we can get those to the delegation before they come and speak in front of us. So there's that. All right. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to go into our second executive session. Administrator Jones, Rhode Island General Law 42465A1, discussion on job performance, character, physical, or mental health of a person or persons, provided that such person or persons affected may require the discussion be held in open session. Planner candidate Christopher Spencer, notice given. And Solicitor Marcello, Rhode Island General Law 42465A2, general update on all pending litigation. And Solicitor Marcello, Rhode Island General Law 42465A2, David McGovern et al. V. William Bailey III et al., USDC, Rhode Island, 124-CV 00100 MSM LDA litigation update. Thank you for that lengthy one, Mr. Solicitor. And then Solicitor Marcello, Rhode Island General Law 42465A2, litigation discussion and update on Department of Business Regulation decision regarding appeal by L&T LLC, DBA Sakonnet Liquors v. Tiverton Town Council, and East Horizon Incorporated, DBA Hotshot Liquors, DBR number 25LQ006, and next steps. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by several. Councilor Committo.
Yes.
Councilor Burke.
Yes.
Councilor Janick.
Yes.
Councilor DeMedeiros.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Councilor Paull.
Yes.
Councilor Perry.
Yes.
All right, we are now in closed executive session.